Hey guys, happy Friday. We made it to the end of another week and we are one chapter closer to being done with the Wild Robot Escapes. Yesterday we left Roz in Dr. Molovo's apartment, and Bright Bill came, and Roz had to convince Bright Bill that she was really his mom, and she had to answer a bunch of questions to prove it was really her. And finally he said, "Oh, Mama, I love you." And Roz said, "I love you too, son." And Dr. Molovo was just in the corner just crying because it was so special and sweet. So now they're reunited and super excited, but now they're still stuck in the city. What are they going to do? How do you think they're going to get home? Or do you think they will get home? Maybe they'll just make a new life for themselves in the city. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll have to begin another journey back home. But let's find out. Chapter 85, The Guests. After traveling in secret, after running in fear, our friends were safe at last. But their problems weren't over yet. Although Roz had a brand new body, she had the same old mind, and most humans simply were not ready for an emotional, curious, wild robot. There were only one place where she could be her true self, and that was still far, far away. "Dr. Molovo, you have been so kind to me and my son," said the robot, "but I must ask you for one last favor." The woman sat back in her chair. "Could you take us home in your airship?" The woman laughed. "Well, of course I will. How else would you get to an island in the middle of an ocean?" Time and time again, Roz had dreamed of flying back to her island in an airship, but she had never thought it would actually happen until now. "It's no trouble," the woman went on. "We can have you home in a few hours, but I insist that you and Bright Bill stay a while here in my apartment. You both deserve some peace and comfort, and I'd love the company." There was no arguing with Dr. Molovo, and our friends agreed to stay a while. The robot butler took care of everything and everyone in the apartment, and that included the guests. Roz felt funny accepting help from a robot, but Bright Bill happily soaked up the attention. The butler fed him fantastic salads made from exotic leafy plants. The butler placed a little pool in the living room so he could swim whenever he liked. The butler built a cozy bed that was just right shape and size for the young goose. Bright Bill had never been so comfortable. Dr. Molovo divided her time between her guests and her work. She would sit around chatting with Roz and Bright Bill, and then suddenly head down to the factory with some urgent task. She had to design new robots, so she had to supervise the makers and the Ricos. She had to manage all of Tech Lab Industries. Even at her old age, Dr. Molovo was still consumed by a passion for robots. "If you love your job, it never feels like work," she said, smiling and strolling out the door. When the host was working, the guests had the apartment to themselves. Roz spent hours browsing the bookshelves. She read about art and science and the history of robotics. Bright Bill waddled from room to room and explored the sprawling apartment. But their favorite activity was to stand by the windows, gaze across the city, and survey the incredible sights. "I can see the bridge where Strutter tracked me down," said Bright Bill. "And that's the building where I first met Graybeak. And there's the roof that you fell." "Look, far in the distance, another spaceship is taking off," said Roz. "It could be flying to the space station, or the moon, or beyond." "I think that skyscraper is actually a greenhouse," said Bright Bill. "I flew past it and saw nothing but plants inside." Roz and Bright Bill enjoyed their time in Dr. Molovo's apartment, but they missed their families and friend in the wilderness of the island. After a few days, the guests were growing restless. They were ready to go home. Okay, so last chapter, or a couple chapters ago, Roz had asked Dr. Molovo what her purpose was, and what is her amazing big job. And Dr. Molovo kind of said, well, you don't really have any important job, you're just made to help. And then Roz said, yeah, exactly, that is the most important thing. I'm just here to help people. And Dr. Molovo said, she realized that wow, that is so important. That is one of the most important jobs you can have, is to be there to help others. and do great things with that. And that was Roz's really big, important job, and she loved doing it. And then in this chapter, we learned Dr. Malovo had said about her job that if you love your job, you'll never feel like it's work. And that's definitely how I feel about teaching. I love teaching you guys, and so I never feel like I have to go to work, and it makes me mad or upset ever. I love it. So I want you guys to think about when you're grown-ups. What is something that maybe you would like to do with your life that will always make you happy and bring you joy? Now, here's the catch. I hate the question when people ask me, when I talk to other grownups and they go, and we're just learning about each other, and they say, well, what do you do? And I always answer with, well, I spend time outside, and I hang out with my family, and I sing, and I backcountry ski, and I have a garden, and I do all these things. And they say, oh, no, that's not what I mean. I mean, what do you do for a job? And I say, well, there's more to me than my job. Like, that's not what I do. That's part of what I do. It's part of who I am, but it's not necessarily who I am. So when I'm asking you what's something that you want to do that's going to make you happy and fulfilled, like Roz is helping people, and Dr. Malovo is very fulfilled and rewarded by her robot, which is also her job, or designing robots, which is also her job. But I want you guys to think about something that when you're grown up, what is something that you're going to be fulfilled by? And maybe it is a job. Maybe it is something that you can do to earn money, but that's not the whole question. So think about that when you're answering your questions. Write them down, send me a video, type it out, doesn't matter. Hope you guys have a super, super great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.